So greetings to each and everyone present over through this virtual platform. I, Skanda Ramchandra, have been granted the privilege to host this event. The Institute Innovation Council of Dr. L.S. Hiranandani College of Pharmacy and Vivekanand Education Society College of Pharmacy welcomes you all to the day two for the second session of Know How of Startup. This session will all be about converting an innovation into a startup. It will give you all a broad idea about the various opportunities and the various platforms for a startup. So, on that note, let me introduce today's speaker, Ms. Sujata Pawar. Ma'am is a healthcare professional, menstrual health educator, founder, and CEO of Avni. She is on the mission to facilitate 10 million women to detox their periods through natural and eco-conscious products. Her venture, Avni, is a women's wellness brand of natural and skin-friendly menstrual and intimate care products. 24/7 period helpline of the envisions creating a safe space around menstrual health. Ma'am has completed her Bachelor's of Pharmacy and her MBA from Narsimondhi Institute of Management Studies. She has worked with many multinational companies like GSK, Merck, and Sanofi. She has over 10 years of experience, and ma'am is her third entrepreneurial venture. Ma'am, we are delighted to have you for this session. So, without any further delay, let's start with the session. Ma'am, over to you.
Yeah, sorry for the glitch. Thank you so much, Kanda, for the detailed introduction. And I'm really honored to be back doing this session. I'm honored because there are two institutions who have made this event possible. So it's really a privilege to be here. Um, Thank you so much again. What I'll do is I'll just give me a minute. I'll just share my screen and and take you through a small presentation that I have about this topic. Before I get into it, I just wanted to briefly introduce what I'm doing currently. Um Avni is my venture. Avni is a women's wellness brand. It is a direct to consumer brand of menstrual care, intimate care, and incontinence care products. We are building a portfolio of products which are conscious, sustainable, good for your skin, good for your health, and they are also tested for very important parameters so that they don't harm your bodies. Our current range of product ranges from reusable sanitary pads to menstrual cups to intimate wipes, and all our products are available on our website www.myavni.com and major e-commerce platforms like Amazon and Flipkart. Very recently, we have actually won an award as one of the top emerging consumer brands in the country. So I'm really happy to be on this journey, and it will be really a nice opportunity for me to share all my learnings and experiences with you here. So the presentation that I have is basically my journey and whatever I have learned in that journey, which can be beneficial for all of you from a point of view of starting your own venture, and also making sure how can you incorporate successful venture right from the beginning, right from your first product. So I'll just share my screen. I hope the screen is visible.
Yes, madam, it is visible.
Yes. Okay. All right. So the the theme, and I wanted to name this presentation specifically from a point of view of how do you work on developing a product that is just sufficient for you to test the market, and see if it really fits the market, and if it is ready to be scaled up, and then you get onto your business. So this is a very famous term that we use when we talk about products and startups. Is it's important to build a lean startup. So my entire talk today is going to be about this and how do you build it right from the beginning. So the first thing which I wanted to it might be a myth, or there might be not a lot of information that you all must have about what is the exact difference between a startup and a regular large organizations that we normally hear about. Why are startups called so, and why are large organizations specifically called so? So the first and the foremost thing is, when you say startup, most of the times it is a new organization. That is the first and the most important aspect of a startup, and it's new. So there are a lot of experimentation that is happening. The product is still not completely set. You don't have a lot of customer validation yet, so most of the times you're just validating your product, you're validating your business model and things like that. What happens is, this thing is something that does not happen with a large organization. With large organizations, they have already tested their models, they know what is the product that is good for them, they have a fixed revenue stream, so they know what works for them and what does not work for them. This is not the case with startups. They are constantly just trying out new things, not just product wise, but even different business model, where to sell the product, how to sell the product. So, for example, I'll give you an example with Avni. It was a very important and conscious decision for us to just say that we are going to only sell the products online for the first 3 years, and only then look at other channels after 3 years. So, this is, you have defined your model basis your resources, basis what the product is, where are you getting best interest from. This is a very simple and basic difference between startups and large organizations. Now, when I say that, does a startup always stay a startup? No, it does not, because it's new, it's temporary, it is just finding its own feet in the market. Once they become, they have a set revenue stream, they are profitable, or they are not losing more money. When we you must be hearing that startup these days are burning a lot of money, so they are basically making more money than they are spending on making that amount of money. So, for example, if somebody is making 10 crores, they are actually spending 12 crores to make 10 crores. So, once this math is a little set, and when they become big, revenue starts increasing, profitability starts increasing, over a period of time, they actually turn into organizations which are stable and no longer called a startup. So, the most important thing for us to understand is the difference basically lies between one important point, which is the strategy. So, how do you define a strategy for a startup or even a large organization for that matter? When we normally talk about a business plan, it is a document which is set. You know the problem, you know what the solution is, and then you define a solution and then define the size of the opportunity and go and achieve that. When you talk about a business model, that is different. It basically only identifies the sources of your revenue. It basically only identifies who your customer can be, what are the products that you want to sell, and it's a learning process. So I'll take you through one simple example, which is called as the business model canvas. So business model, when we want to define the business model of any company or anything that needs to be started, you normally work on certain hypotheses. So I'll just give you an example. The first product that we launched at Avni was a cloth pad. It is a sanitary pad which is made of cloth, which is made of organic cotton fabrics. So you can wash it and reuse it again for like 100 times. Now, my or our hypothesis here is that a lot of women would want to use this kind of a product because they are facing problems with the current products. It's very costly to go buy pads every month. Women would want to save money there. So these were the two reasons. These were the hypotheses which we said, okay, let us go by this hypothesis and try and develop a product and try and sell it to the customers. So what we did is, This is how a business model canvas looks. This is something that I had prepared in the year 2020, just before we were about to launch, or maybe the product was under development. So if you see this business model canvas is actually read very, it's very funny how it is read. So this is the first thing you see, numbering here: 1 2 3, 1 2 3 4, 5 6 7 8 9. This is a very typical format which, whenever you, if anybody of you goes and does a MBA, then you will get to see this very commonly there. So these are the 9 steps in which you need to fill, and this one document will explain to anybody. It can be your customer, it can be your investor, it can be you, your teammates, your colleagues, anybody you are going to hire. They will get a gist of what you're trying to build through this. So it has these 9 components. The first is a customer segment. Now, I told you about the product. It was a cloth pad, reusable product. Now, who is going to be my customer segment? It is going to be women or men who buy products for their wives, for their sisters, for their daughters, anybody from that. Or there can be business clients like retail stores, hotels, or these kind of places who buy sanitary pads maybe in bulk. Now, once my customer segment is fixed, the second is this, which is a value proposition. What is the main differentiation, or what is the main USP of this product? So, what I wanted to do is, okay, I wanted to bring the time-tested, ancient principles of managing menstrual cycles back. Women, our grandmothers used to use a lot of cloth pads, so I wanted to bring that back. I wanted to build innovation in products. There has to be a functionality. How do I bring a first functionality? It was a pad. Everybody was always under the impression that cloth pads are very unhygienic because it has to be washed and used again, and we will not be able to use it. So to break this barrier, there were 2 3 things that we did. We built functionality in the product. It has to be environment friendly. People can customize it. So this was about the value propositions, and I'll talk about this a little bit in detail in the next further slides. The third important thing is the channel. Where do you want to sell? So, which as I mentioned, we took the decision that we want to sell it only through online channels. So, we have decided online. But before we decided that, we had listed down what are the channels through which we can sell, not today but tomorrow as well. Okay. The fourth is customer relationship. How do you want the customer relationships to be from your brand, and through what mode? So, of course, we have to be a customer first model. But how do we do that? We have a direct phone number, there is a helpline that we introduce, there are bots now which we have on our website, so people can communicate with us. The fifth aspect is what will be the revenue stream. Where is it that money is going to come from? What kind of margins, what kind of uh, revenues can I expect from different types of customer segments or different types of clients? So there will be retail, there will be direct online, which gives me more margin. There will be events and workshops, which again gives me more margin. So this is about the revenue streams. The sixth is resources. What all resources will I need? Typical human resources. You need warehouse, you need copyrights, you need contacts, of course, network you definitely need. So these are the resources you put in. The seventh is what are the key activities? What is it that we do on a daily basis? On a daily basis, I work on product development, I work on marketing activities every day. There is a lot of research that goes in. What is the next product that we should launch? How do we make the current product better? So this is the key activities that we do on a normal basis. Who are the partners we work with? Again, these e-commerce companies or retailers, shipping companies who help with our order fulfillment, distribution partners, warehousing team. And then there is a cost structure. For all of this, where is the cost going to be? Most of my money is always blocked in product inventory. Product development is a very big cost. Then, if I sell it through a distributor, then there is some credit that goes, so money is stuck there. So, you need to figure out where your major chunk of money is going to get fixed. So, now if I just have to give you a number, we do a sale of say 20 lakhs a month at the moment, and we have an inventory which is worth 35 lakhs in our uh, warehouse at the moment. So that is the kind of money that you need to arrange. You're selling items worth some amount, and then there is inventory that you're holding worth some amount. So if you don't plan this and chalk this out at some place, you will never know how much of amount do you need to plan to even start the business. So when I started Avni, I have put in, so me and my husband both are in the same organization. Both of us are co-founders. We ourselves have put in close to 50 lakhs of our personal investment, our personal money, which is our savings uh, from previous jobs, and that is what we have invested in this company. So I could come to this number of 45 to 50 lakhs of investments basis this kind of a model where okay, I know this is where most of my money is going to go, and I need to put or I need to arrange that kind of money. So this is a very important document. Even if you don't plan to start a business right now, even if you plan to do it sometime later, whenever you get an idea that okay, if I can pursue this, just work on this kind of a model, which will give you a clarity of whether to even pursue that idea or no. If it doesn't make sense, if there's not going to be revenue, then why do you even pursue? So this becomes a very important starting point for any business idea that you have. It can be a product idea, it can be a service idea, it can be any idea which can be turned into a business. This is a very important piece that needs to be done first, always. Then the next step actually comes is value creation. So when we do businesses, what we say is okay, I have to target this kind of revenues, I have to target this kind of profits, I have to achieve a valuation of so and so 100 crores, for example. But as a business, what are you actually doing? You, at the core of it, you're only creating value. You're creating value for yourself, monetary value. There is financial value. Of course, I will make a lot of money if this becomes successful. But along this entire process, I'm making a lot of name for myself, a lot of credibility for myself, for the customers. They are getting good products, good quality products. So their health is getting improved. My channel partners are able to make money because I am delivering products which are good quality, which are being sold. So in the end, it is all about value creation. So you always need to think, where is it that you're creating value? What are the assets that you're creating? You might say, I'm a product company and I sell products, but actually I'm creating assets. Every product that I'm building is an asset in itself, because there is a brand, there is marketing involved, it is an asset. So what are the kinds of assets you can have? It can be products that we are selling, trademarks, patents around any product that you have. So you don't necessarily always have to sell a product, be a consumer business. After your B Farm degrees, you can always get into research and try and get products or some technologies patented, which tomorrow can make a lot of money for you when you tie up with commercial organizations. So that is again an asset that you're creating for yourself. There are assets that you're creating for you, for your company. So think about this from this angle. What are the kind of assets that you're creating which will give you long term recurring business, and try and create that, because just selling a product is a mere transaction unless and until you look at things from a very larger angle, from a very top view. It always is just mere transactions. Otherwise, you have to focus on creating assets. So what we have tried, one is of course products. There are these assets, the community that you are building. We have a helpline number, we have Instagram, we have Facebook groups where there are, oh, I think over 25,000 women who are getting engaged on a daily basis. That is a community that we are trying to build. There are so many relations that we are making with education institutions, with other companies, NGOs, government bodies. These are the alliances which we are making where we are creating value. So it is very important. How do you really think from a business idea point of view? So this was about business modeling, creating value. How do you really need to look at it? Now the second aspect is customer development. When you have decided, okay, I want to pursue this idea, it looks fine. Most important thing which you really need to keep in mind, and I'll answer that right away. There's, I think Palak has asked, how do we identify whether an idea really has a market potential? See, when you talk about, so this question basically will be answered in how do you size the market. There's something called as market opportunity sizing, where you really need to come to a number that okay, this big is the number. So, for example, I'll talk about sanitary pads. Now, there are two, three ways that you can do this. One is there are a lot of published reports, research reports that are available online, which give you the sizes of different kinds of markets, everything. So even if today you go and Google what is the market size of sanitary pads in India, you'll get a lot of reports, and there are numbers. It is, so and so $1 billion worth industry today. After 5 years, it is going to grow to this number because the CAGR is this high. It is going to grow at this pace every year. So these are the numbers that you get always for any kind of a product which is being sold already. Now, what happens if these products are not commonly sold? So sanitary pads are being sold in the market. What is sold? Whisper, Stay Free. These are the two, three brands. The disposable white color ka sanitary pads are sold in the market. So whatever is getting captured currently in these reports is the sale of these products, because these products are defining the market. Now, when I come to our product, this product which you see in the picture on the screen, this is on the right hand side, the maroon color pad. This product is first of its kind in the country. We have certain other companies who sell such products, but like two or three other brands. We might be one of the first five who has launched this product very aggressively. We don't have a market for these kind of pads. Nobody's selling this. So how do you get a market opportunity in that case? In that case, you take the second approach where you actually see who is the user. Now, sanitary pad hai. User kaun hoga? It will be women only. You go down to the population of women in the country, X number. उसमें से you find out how many women are in the menstruating age. Menstruating age will be what? 8 years से लेके 45 years. If I take even this window, we have 36 crore women in India who fall only under this bracket. Okay, so 36.5 or something crore women in the country. Now, if I just consider 36.5 crore, ठीक है, not everybody is going to use sanitary, because not everybody is using a sanitary pad even now. They must be using something. So if I just even remove 10% of them, tribal women, एकदम rural areas में रहने वाले who don't have access to anything, if I even remove them, we are still left with what, 33 crore women. So if 33 crore women have to buy this, even one pad, and I'm selling one pad for 250 rupees, so 33 crore into 250 rupees. जिंदगी में अगर एक भी पैड कभी खरीदा, 33 crore into 250 rupees is my market. And that is the opportunity. So ऐसा भी नहीं है that you always get a market opportunity for only products which are sold, which are already established. Even if you're doing something drastically different, you just need to see who is going to be the end user, how many of these users are there, और उनमें से आप कितनों को टारगेट कर सकते हो. Of course there are 33 crore women who I can target, but I don't have the money to target those many women. तो उसमें से how many do I really can target? 1 crore women? Even if I target 1 crore women and convert 1 crore women, 1 crore women, even if they buy 250 rupees ka pad, how much crore is the business worth? 250 crores, right there, right? So this is how you do market opportunity sizing. The simplest method, the simplest two methods, very not very money intensive. You don't have to invest money into coming to these kind of numbers. It is just pure math. A lot of numbers are available on Google. Just deduce, put your insights into play कि कितना conversion हो सकता है, कौन क्या बोलेगा, कहाँ पे होगा. Just put that math and then you can arrive at the market opportunity. I hope that answers your question, Palak. Good question, by the way. So it was a good segue to what I'm going to tell you. So now you've identified the product. Okay, it's a very big market and we can target. How do you develop and how do you reach out to the customer? This is again a simple two-step process. One is everybody says listen to the customer, and see what they are saying and then develop products accordingly. Now there are two approaches. You either directly talk to customers or something which happened with me. Now I am a user of sanitary pads for the last 20 years. So I've used cloth in the very early years. So I know what it feels to use a simple regular cloth. I have my own experiences with it. क्या प्रॉब्लम्स होते हैं? यू फील वेटनेस, लीकेज होता है, लीक मतलब लीक प्रूफिंग नहीं मिलती तो लीकेज हो सकता है कभी कभी. stains रह जाते हैं, you always feel that there might be a possibility of infection. So these are the insights that I have got because of my personal experience of using this product. There are possibilities sometimes where you are not the user of the product actually. So in that case, you actually have to go talk to customers. So for example, if I'm launching something which is for men care, men's range, so I will not be the user, but I'll have to talk to some men to come to a conclusion कि उन्हें actually क्या चाहिए. So you talk to your friends, men in your family, friends, and then do a wider research with some other customers, other people who can be your likely customers tomorrow. But it is very important to know what are the pain points. Don't ask them what they want. Just ask them what is the issue that they're facing. That is very important. What is the issue they're facing with the current sanitary pad? Most of you will say rashes hota hai, irritation hota hai, we don't like it's plastic and stuff like that. ठीक है, that is a problem. We'll come up with a solution. Don't ask the customer a solution. Ask them their problems. And then you have to find out a solution. So first thing is very, very important that you have to first pinpoint who your customer is going to be and then understand from them what their current challenges are. So I told you three main issues which I also experienced as a cloth pad user. One is fear of infections. Second is stains रह जाते हैं, so it's tough to wash. And third is that leak proof नहीं होता है, मतलब it can leak the regular cloth. So the first pad that we developed, the first prototype I would say, is this pink color pad that you see in the middle. It has all the features of a regular sanitary pad. It can absorb for 5 to 6 hours. It stays in place. It does not stick, but then there are buttons. What we try to incorporate is an antimicrobial technology, which is basically a patented technology. So we've applied for a patent for that, which makes the pad self-disinfecting one. So pathogen buildup नहीं होता है. And the fabrics that we chose were such that they don't retain stains at all. This was a very basic version कि ठीक है, low frills version है, not a lot of jazz. Let's see what people have to say. So this was the first pad that we launched in the market when we launched 2021. For the first 6 months, we used to sell this pad only. People used to like it. When we started getting some feedback, we understood that there was a certain other challenges that used to move and the shape can be improved a bit. Then we kind of shifted to this, the right side wala pad, where we improved on the kind of fabrics. These are all certified organic cotton materials. The shape is different, you will notice. The buttons are different, you will notice. So all of this has come from our customers who have given feedback कि ये ऐसा मूव होता है, इसको आप ऐसा शेप बना सकते हो, यहाँ बटन लगाओ, इधर मत लगाओ, दो लगाओ, एक मत लगाओ. So all of this, plus there are attractive colors and then cute looking pouches and all. So this happened after the customers gave us feedback. But the first version was very, very basic, easy for us to manufacture, good price for us to sell to the customers. They used it. Prima facie, from a usage point of view, they liked it. हाँ ठीक है, purpose solve कर रहा है, मेरा period flow absorb कर रहा है. अब इसमें better क्या कर सकते हैं? 1, 2, 3, 4 things, and we worked on that, and this is the pad that we are selling right now on our website. Earlier we launched only 2 sizes, these 2 pink color ka sizes. Now we have 4 because people in India are of different shapes and sizes. So they gave us feedback कि थोड़ा और लंबा होना चाहिए, थोड़ा ऐसा होना चाहिए. So one is you can get your product out first. Most of the development will actually happen in tandem with your customers. They will help you. They will only give you suggestions. Third important thing is keep developing. It's mostly called agility. And normally what we see is, and this is very common, so I can understand from your questions also, how do you come to know if the product really has a good market potential? That businesses cannot be started with investment less than 1 crore. You need lots and lots of money to start businesses. ऐसा नहीं है. It's not like that. Depending on what is your idea, but most of them can be started with, like, at least product businesses can be started with a investment of say 10 to 20 lakhs ke beech mein, one product, good product, and you start off. Don't spend initially कि मुझे perfect product बनाना है, मुझे perfect website बनानी है, इसका packaging perfect होना चाहिए. You can never reach the perfect mark. It is always a process. So I'll just give you an example of how you pivot in the business model. I showed you about this, the pink pad, simple pad हमने launch किया, we got feedback. This was on the product front. the second place where most of us spend a lot of money is your platform, website banana, या shop है तो shop बनाना. You know, so the website was a very simple WordPress website which actually I had coded to some extent. तो इतना simple था and we use that simple features. We made a basic e-commerce website जहाँ पे कोई आता है तो वो product पैसे दे के product खरीद सकता है. इतना functionality हो गया, बहुत हो गया. Now, once the business is growing, we got funded actually 2 times. So now we have the kind of funds to build a very high loaded functional website with very advanced features. But you need to reach a certain stage. It's okay when you have funds, do it. नहीं है तो जरूरी नहीं है. In fact, it's more easier nowadays because you have so many good platforms, plugins, softwares available to make such things available very at a very cheap cost. Similarly, packaging, if you see, the first packaging was very small, brown color ka recycled paper pack, which was one of the most cheapest packaging materials available. But it actually also went with a brand ethos that it's eco-friendly, it's recycled, so it's good for the nature. Now we have a very premium packaging, which has all fancy cartons, and then there are laminations and all. Of course, they are still recycled paper, but then the designing and all is a little bit superior and premium now. So all of these things have happened after we have spent 1 year in the market as a business and we had customers. So it is always important that you take feedback from your customers and evolve. Because and I've seen this happen कि बहुत बार क्या होता है ना, we think कि नहीं ये प्रोडक्ट नहीं चलेगा, मुझे मुझे ये भी फीचर डालना है, मुझे वो भी डालना है, it has to be perfect. और उसमें you lose a lot of time, you lose the first mover advantage a lot of times. एंड तब भी आप परफेक्ट प्रोडक्ट बनाते हो ही नहीं. व्हेन इट गोज टू द फर्स्ट कस्टमर यू विल गेट लैश्ड कि अरे ये क्या है, फिर इसको ऐसा होना चाहिए था, इसको वैसा होना चाहिए था. सो देन यू फील कि अरे इतना टाइम मैंने वेस्ट किया एंड देन दिस इज व्हाट द कस्टमर्स हैव टू से. सो दिस इज ऑलवेज गोइंग टू हैपन. सो इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट जो बेसिक फीचर्स है वो लेके लॉन्च द प्रोडक्ट एंड देन कीप ट्वीकिंग. So, actually, I would like to conclude. So, process-wise, most of this is done. I would like to conclude by a few points here. The first point is it's very important for us to listen to our customers. Whatever feedback they give, if they like the product, if they don't like the product, people like the product, they still have feedbacks to give. कि I like the product, but आप ये चीजें improve कर सकते हो. Good, very good, because these are engaged people. They're liking your products and they are helping you make your business better. So it's very important for you to build channels in your business where customer interaction is always happening. For us, what is helping is we have a helpline, which is a WhatsApp number. People can also call us on that number. So whenever they have any doubts or queries about product or they want to place an order, they approach us. Because of this helpline, and not a lot of brands in this market have this kind of a helpline, we are directly connected to all our customers all the time, which is really helpful. And today, these days, customer service is a very important element of every business. When you also must be shopping online, you must know that a lot of brands have a customer service number or some executive sitting. This is very important from a listening point of view. The second point is action is superior to concrete business plans. I was saying ना कि perfect product बनाना है और उस चक्कर में you keep losing a lot of time. It's essential कि आप कुछ action ले लो, आप उतर जाओ market में, just start, just launch it. Once you get into the market, there are forces around you which always act positively for you. They help you. People from nowhere come, arrive, and help you with your businesses. It's just about taking that first action, first step. The third point is frugal approach is essential. When I say frugal approach, it is about everything, about not having a lot of money from the beginning, because business is not about raising money. Business is not about valuations, it's not about just getting funded. It is about building a profitable business, because I'm sure most of you must be following the news or at least be active on the stock market, trading into the stock market, and you would have seen that there are so many successful startups, but apparently successful Paytm kinds of, who have not been doing very well on the stock markets. So you know what happens eventually, अगर आप profitable नहीं हो ना, it's difficult to sustain. और वो जो approach है वो that has to be there in the business from the day one. You cannot be just raising money and increasing the valuation and then the business is going nowhere. So that leads me to the fourth point, that profitability has to be built in from day one. Gone are the days when you have a lot of investors, flocking to invest startup. That is not happening. Whatever you are reading in the news, it's media at work. But I'll tell you, getting funded these days is not easy. Even we have just raised our second round. It's getting tough, and it's getting tougher, and it's good that it's getting tougher. So people who really have a very solid business plan and a model only will get funded, and only they will grow. So which is good actually. The system is correcting itself. And the fifth and the most important point is build your personal network. The only one, if you don't take any other point from my talk today, just keep this one last point with you, is your personal network is very essential for you. Um, and when I say personal network, it's not just about friends and family, it is your professional network, which you build either at, let's say, your college, school friends who tomorrow become working professionals, at your office, um, or people who you know only through LinkedIn, let's say, for example. All of this becomes very important at a later stage when, let me just give you an example. So I just got into this entrepreneurial space four years back. Before that, my dad was a businessman, but he was not very active on social media, or he did not have a very big circle of influence which I could take help from. Of course, LinkedIn was not there, so nobody there was active on LinkedIn. Since the time I started working in 2010, I was very active on LinkedIn. 4 years back, when I started my first venture and we needed funding, I just approached people on LinkedIn. I didn't knew them, but I just approached them that this so and so is our business model. This is what we are trying to build, and we are looking to raise funds. We got connected. They funded me. They funded my first startup. They funded this startup now. Avni also they have funded. All of this has happened only through LinkedIn. We haven't met yet. It's been 4 years and I haven't met that person in person. I haven't met him still. So, but still, he's funded two companies that I have built, and he trusts me more than what I'm trying to build, because of course he has more trust in me. So these things can happen. I was never introduced to this kind of a network. I was never introduced to the um, investor circle by anybody. It happened through LinkedIn, because of the kind of work that I was doing at that startup, because of my previous experience, which was there on my LinkedIn profile, my activity. So, if you just follow my LinkedIn profile, you'll see I've been pretty active over the last 10 years now. It's been very active participation. So, it's not necessarily that you have to personally know everybody for them to help you. If you're building something really genuine, and if you're building it with your heart, people will support you, and it happens. So that is a very important part for us to remember, that be active, on these platforms. Take the maximum advantage. You have that. We to started using after our post graduation. You guys have it at your disposal right now also. So you should make the most use of it, because these are the places where you really get help, especially from a business point of view. You really get help. People acknowledge. So this is very essential, and one takeaway, if I want to leave you guys with, this is the last takeaway, because this is very essential for your business success. Whatever your idea is, if you have a really solid network, that will help. It will only help extrapolate things and then grow exponentially. So that's the last point I would want to leave you with. And so there was one point where I had to talk about what are the avenues which you can pursue. Most of the time, what I've put here is my observation. So first is any pharmaceutical company, which is the route that I took after my BPharm. I've done my MBA in pharmaceutical management, particularly in marketing, from NMIMS, Narsi Munje Institute, and I joined GlaxoSmithKline as a management trainee. So there I've done marketing, sales, both these roles, and then I moved into core marketing into the other company. So I worked in pharmaceutical companies. I was a marketing manager at Sanofi when I left. So I've understood how brands are launched, how brands are built, how do you take a brand from zero to 10 crores, and how do you take a brand like, say, Allegra from 10 crore to 100 crores. So I have seen these kind of journeys in companies, which is helping me now in my business venture. And I took that route because I knew sometime I would launch my own business, and I would launch a product based business only. So I took that experience. The second opportunity is, of course, into the manufacturing space or development, product development or research space. So if you have that kind of a expertise, you like doing that, it's also a good business because um, I'll also tell from my experience that okay, I have good ideas कि क्या products launch कर सकते हैं, and there are some skincare products also which I'm interested in launching. But I really want good people who can help me with formulating those. कौन से ingredients डालने चाहिए, क्या डाल के क्या effect मिलता है. I'm not an expert in that. At least now, I'm not an expert in that. So if you have a knack in that segment, that is also a good business that you can build. Just developing products for other companies, innovative products for other companies, tweaking ingredients. So if you have a knack in research, that's a good place to get into. If you have access to some manufacturing suppliers, or you have access to funds कि आप manufacturing company खोल सकते हो, that is a big thing. Service industry is basically everything to do with data management. Most of which what we see is pharmacovigilance. We see a lot of this happening in the IPR industry. We see a lot of this happening in patient relationship management. So service industry is that industry where you can either work as a professional, or you can also start your own venture. One example which I feel is it's become very big these days is a company called Indigene. Indigene was started by a mechanical engineer. So he's an engineer, but he's done a very good work in healthcare systems, and it's a service industry network. So it's like an Infosys, but for healthcare, that kind of a thing. So you can really make it big, and Indigene is huge now. So these are the ventures or avenues where you can look at first taking experience as a professional or working with them. And then if when you have an interest of getting into business, you can then venture out on yourself. So one piece of advice here is try to get into jobs where you will learn the necessary skills to start your own business if you have that as a primary goal, which is something which I did. But otherwise, if you want to be a working professional, there's no problem with that. You can always uh, take that route as well. Okay. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much. And I would like to take questions. I think I'll stop sharing my screen.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this informative session. I am pretty sure many of the students have set their mind over starting up with the business. Now the session is open for question and answers. I request everyone to post their questions in the comment box. Question if question from Esrin, if I have an idea which is for a product, how and where do I start?
Thank you for the question, Asrim. This is exactly what I talked about this entire time. So there are 3, 4 steps that I've pointed out. If you want, I can share the slides with you. You can go through them.
Shruti is asking, if we don't have personal financial resources, how to generate seed fund to generate prototype?
Yes, that's a very valid question. Um, so for personal finances resources, if you don't have, there are 2, 3 ways that you can look at raising seed funds. First is there you have to keep an eye, but there are a lot of contests, competitions that are being held these days, and the number has actually increased. If I see 7 years back and now, there are a lot of big investment companies or banks for that matter or government organizations who keep arranging a lot of contests and competitions where you can pitch. It is a pitch competition. So you go, you pitch your idea, and then you get some seed funds. There are some big VCs also, venture capitalists as they are called. They invest in your company in a very early stage, or you can get some seed funds. If you are specifically into healthcare kind of products or biotech related products, there are certain biotech organizations and government organizations which only fund. So it's called BRAC, BIRAC. It's basically biotechnology related all innovations. So they very consistently and very frequently keep doing these pitch competitions where you go pitch and either they invest in you or they select you for mentoring. And that's how you generate your prototype. It just depends on what is the product. If it's a very high heavy research intensive product in the medical space, then you need a lot of funds even in the beginning. So I know a friend who is working on a product for cancer cell research. So he had to do tie-ups with governments because it was crores of money, not just lakhs. It was crores of money just to build a prototype. So if that is the kind, you really need some contacts in the government or you need your own funds to build. But for a product like mine, so the first product that we launched, we did not need a lot of money. So most of things can happen through your personal financial resources. The only thing which I would want to say is that personal finances thoda you will have to arrange. How much ever, there are banks always come at a certain stage, and I'll also talk a little bit about how financing of startups happen. At the early stage, there are either angel investors who invest in you, and angel investors are basically individuals who like your business idea, even when you've not launched or you've just launched and you're just doing little bit of sales. They invest in you. These are individual people who invest 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs kind of money. You go to these competitions, win them, you get grants or funds like 50 lakhs or 20 lakhs, sometimes 15 lakhs, and you use that to generate your prototype. You need to really do a lot of research. Once you sit online, Google thoda aapko mil jayega a lot of things. LinkedIn pe, if you keep following critical people in your area of interest, you will find them. Now, once you have angel investors, this is how it happened for us. Last year, when we did our first round, it was an angel round. We had some 10 to 12 angels who invested amounts like 2 to 5 lakhs in the company. Small amounts, but together it made a big difference for us. Once you go beyond that stage, and that time I think we used to do 1 lakh of revenue every month. That was how small we were at that time when these people invested. Just recently, the 2 months back, we have completed our second round. That is where we have big angel investors who have come in. So there is one doctor who has invested up to 3 crores in our company, and we are doing 20 lakhs of business monthly now. So we have grown 20 times, and then there are such people who have come in. Now, when we go to the next stage, there will be venture capitalists who will come in picture. They are the ones who invest only in startups who have proven themselves in the industry कि हाँ ठीक है ये बिक सकता है 50 lakh तक का revenue, then they invest. Once that stage is done, then banks come into picture. So ऐसा नहीं होता है कि banks आपको loan देंगे. Banks are the last people to come and give you loans. So how much ever we see this kind of funding and this kind of levels in the funding process, there are certain level of personal financial resources which you have to arrange. Again, a personal example, Avni mein whatever investment I have done, I have actually made that money by launching another company before this, which was a very simple model, कुछ खास basic model था, but it was a very profitable trading business. I made money from that business and then invested in Avni because I wanted that much money. So if you really have that kind of a plan, then you will need to make some arrangements to make money available. And that will always stay. As a founder, most of your time will go into arranging finances. So just keep that in mind. Of course, there is a lot of other forces that will help you.
Apeksha is asking, is it necessary to register a startup as a Section 8 company? If so, at what stage should we register?
What is a Section 8 company? I'm not sure if I clearly understand what a Section 8 company is, but see, there are three types in which you can register a company. One is a proprietorship, one is a partnership firm, and one is a private limited organization. Partnership, proprietorship is fine until and unless you are going to be doing business which is at a smaller scale, just between you and your suppliers or your customers. If you're looking at growing someday and raising funds from people outside of your organization, you need to be a private limited company. So depending on what you are aiming at for a longer time period of time, accordingly register your company. We started as a partnership firm because it was me and my husband, but within 6 months we had to become a private limited company because we had to take funds. So you just have to decide what is the nature of your business and accordingly register your company. But I just one piece of advice: just register for advance. मतलब 3-4 साल आगे का सोच के register करो so that it doesn't become a mess in the middle of your business operations.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Uh, I don't think so. There's any more questions. Now, I would like to please note that all the attendees, the feedback link is posted in the comment box and will be sent to all the registered participants via email. Also, note that this 3 day session will continue on 20th August, that is Saturday. Now, I would like to call upon Dr. Rajkumar Dubey sir to propose the vote of thanks.
Okay, so hello Sujata. I take this opportunity to thank Avni and Sujata madam for sparing time and giving us advice on how to have a startup. And she explained in such a lucid manner and gave good insights, not only about how to convert your idea into reality, but also how to progress further, how to arrange for funds. What I take from this talk ahead is startup success is based on start by thinking that if you will buy your own story, if you can buy your own story, then it is going to be a success. Also, I would like to thank Dr. Mushtaq Sheikh sir, president of IIC at Vivekanand Education Society's College of Pharmacy. Also, I would like to thank Dr. Anita Aire Madam, the Vice President for IIC at Westcop. Thank you so much for collaborating with us and giving our students and the faculty opportunity to attend to such beautiful talks. Thanks are also due to Shraddha Fadke Madam, the convener of our IIC at Dr. L. H. Hiranandani College of Pharmacy, for collaborating. And last but not the least, I would like to thank Dr. Supriya Sidhe Madam, Principal of Vivekanand Education Society's College of Pharmacy, and our Principal, Dr. Parag Gide sir, for giving us the opportunity to do this collaborative activity. Thank you all the participants for patient listening. See you all in the next session, that is on Saturday. Thank you so much.